Hello and welcome. We're going to take a quick look at our world right now in January 2026. We'll talk about important peace talks, the global economy, and even a new race to space. So let's jump right in and see what's happening. We're going to start with something pretty serious. These are the words of a high-level Russian official talking about the war in Ukraine. The goal? Regime change. When you hear words like that, you know that finding peace is going to be, well, really, really difficult. And that brings us to the biggest question right now. With things being so tense, is it even possible for peace talks to work? Let's take a closer look at what's going on at the negotiating table. To try and find a way forward, some very important peace talks are happening. And these aren't just any talks. You have Russia, Ukraine, and the United States all involved. And whatever they decide could really change the future of Eastern Europe. And this is a huge deal. It's the very first time that all three of these major players, Russia, Ukraine, and the USA, are in the same room talking directly in Abu Dhabi. It's a small step maybe, but it's a really important one. So what does each side want? Well, Russia wants to have full control of the Donbas region, and they want to make sure Ukraine's government isn't hostile to them. On the other side, Ukraine wants the fighting to stop right now, a ceasefire, and for Russia to stop attacking its power plants and energy systems. As you can see, they are very, very far apart. One idea that's being discussed is something called the anchorage formula. So what is that? The idea is that Russia would get control over the entire Donbas region. In exchange, all the fighting would just stop, right where it is now. It would freeze the conflict in place. When you look at all of this, it really comes down to one main thing: land. Who gets to control which parts of Ukraine? This is the hardest problem to solve, and it's what everything else depends on. Of course, a big war like this doesn't just happen in one place. It sends ripples all across the globe. And that, along with other problems, is making the whole world economy feel, well, a little bit nervous. It affects all of us. So what does a nervous economy look like in numbers? Well, experts think the world's economy will only grow by 2.6% this year. That might sound okay, but it's actually pretty slow. It means businesses everywhere are being very careful. So why is it slowing down? A big reason is that global trade isn't as strong. Basically, companies and people are buying less stuff from other countries. Things just aren't moving around the world as much as they used to. And you really can't talk about the world economy without talking about energy. So let's zoom in on something that affects almost everyone's wallet: the price of oil. Take a look at this. This chart shows the forecast for Brent oil, which is a big deal in the global market. And as you can see, the trend for 2026 is pretty clear. It's pointing down. Experts think prices are going to fall this year. So how much lower could they go? The forecast predicts the average price will be just $56 for 1 barrel of oil. And the reason why is pretty simple. It's all about supply and demand. You can see on this chart that the world is producing more oil. And when there's more of something available, the price usually goes down. But while all this is happening on Earth, there's another kind of competition that's just getting started. And this one is taking place far, far away from here. That's right. While countries are trying to figure out peace and the economy, a completely different kind of race is heating up. It's all about technology and power, and it's happening in space. And a huge new player in this race is China's Palace second rocket. It's being built by a private company, and what's really cool is that it's reusable, just like SpaceX's Falcon 9. Its first flight is actually planned for this year, and the biggest version will be able to carry a massive 58 tons into orbit. That's a lot. Okay, so we've talked about difficult peace talks, a slow economy, changing oil prices, and a brand new race to the stars. So let's step back for a second. What does all of this tell us about our world? So to wrap it all up, here's our snapshot of the world in early 2026. First, the road to peace in Ukraine is still very, very hard. Second, the global economy is moving slowly and carefully. Third, it looks like oil prices are going to drop. And finally, a new commercial space race has officially begun. And all of that leaves us with one final big question. As we watch all these things happen, the search for peace, the fight for power, and the push for progress, which one do you think will be the most important in shaping our future?